Good morning. This is Daniel Posney with Shifting Perspectives here in Sedona. And this morning's topic is about how getting unstuck and remote viewing, there's a correlation there. But I feel like, first of all, there needs to be a little bit of explanation about what remote viewing is. And I'm actually kind of excited about sharing this about what it is. Um, there's a movie called um, Men Who Stare at Goats. I think that's what it's called. And it's got Matthew McConaughey and George Clooney. And it's kind of a spoof on this actual real life thing that happened. Um, the United States found out that, or suspected that Russia was spying on their secrets, our secrets, remotely using their mind. And so that caused them to go into this. And so it became this thing that kind of got created where there were some really powerful remote viewers, like Ingo Swann is one that was kind of the father of this whole thing in the US. And basically, what it is, it's tapping into your own intuitive abilities so that you could visually in your mind's eye and also in your feeling and in your knowing and in your senses that you might get a feeling for the color of something or even a scent of something, and it'll just kind of come to you as kind of like an epiphany moment. And it's not something that you really think about. That's really the obstacle to go beyond, is the thinking part. But if you're silent with yourself long enough, you can tap into what's called the collective consciousness or the quantum field, which is all the information is all out there. And that's the thing that we tap into when we know that someone's going to call, or we think about something and someone and they're in the hospital recently, stuff like that. So it's really amazing. So I just went to a remote viewing class last night, and Valerie and I have been kind of, we bought a course so we could kind of dive into this. And this thing last night was just kind of coming back to it and re-engaging in it. And so what happened was they'll show an envelope, and the envelope will have a number on the front of it. And what you do, basically, you get a blank piece of paper, you write down your name, the date, and the number on the envelope. And then you basically say, my name is Daniel Posney. I'll be remote viewing target number of 533799. And then you just kind of let go and you allow your mind and everything to relax. Actually, do this beforehand, but you allow everything just to settle. And then you'll just get ideas or words or feelings. And the trick is to just write them down. Don't even try to name them or label them. Like she was saying, when you think about a car, don't say car. You say a vehicle or something that you sit in and it moves fast and it has a view in all directions. That's the thing that you want to kind of go to. And the first target that I got, I was I was thinking horse, and I was like, don't say horse. And it's I'm in my mind. And then I kept getting a strong impression to draw this kind of curvy line that looked like a really simplistic version of a horse. And then I thought about brown, and I thought about circling like a spiral, kind of going around and around. And what else was there? There was hair, like a mane, like a horse hair. And then I thought about a comb to comb that hair. And then I kind of pushed it aside and went off in this other direction. And as it turned out, the picture that was in the envelope was of a racetrack of horses running. So the thing that was going around and around was the racetrack. And of course, there was horses, and of course, the color was brown, all this stuff. So it's just we're tapping into our own natural psychic abilities. So that all being said, the way that this ties into getting unstuck, first of all, the feeling that you're having of getting stuck is actually a blessing. So I want to work with you on this morning in a little bit different way. Instead of me just talking and blowing your mind with new ideas and stuff, I want to work with you on this and have you tap into this yourself. So go ahead and close your eyes. Just let your body relax. Drop your shoulders, take a deep breath. Just tap into your body. Just all you're doing right now is feeling your body. In fact, I want you to think about your big toe on your left foot. Just think about how that feels, your big toe on your left foot. So what you're doing right now is just being aware of your big toe on your left foot. Now think about your right shoulder. Kind of relaxes a little bit. Now think about your pinky finger on your left hand. Pinky finger on the left hand. Now think about all of them, the big toe on your left foot, your right shoulder, and your pinky finger on your left hand. I know it's weird, maybe not. But what you're doing is you're putting your attention on your body. And your body is where your ultimate intelligence is. Your body is completely conscious and consciousness. Now, as you got your consciousness and your awareness in this place, think about the feeling of being stuck from a higher perspective, not from your mind, not from your personality, but from a higher perspective. Think about what that might mean. Think about what that might be a catalyst for. Now just feel into this presence, this energy that animates your body, that is always trying to move with the natural flow. And it's driven by this natural form of creation. Sometimes problems come in and then solutions arise. Sometimes questions are there and then answers come. But it's all this kind of push and pull, forward and backward, give and take. That kind of energy is this breath in and out. Now think about the breath of the universe or the breath of the earth. That's always breathing in and letting go. Now, how you've been living your life, has it been kind of keeping you in this place? And then something came up to kind of tweak that or kind of poke at that. Maybe there was a divorce, maybe there's an illness, maybe there was an accident. Maybe you had a bad day. And there's this little nudge. Something needs to shift. So what's usually happening here is that your awareness of self, awareness of being in the world and your body is going, okay, I think it's time for a shift. Even as good as things might be looking, it is time for a shift. And if you're someone like I was, you needed a big knock on the head because you weren't really in tune with the subtle things that were going on. So the feeling of being stuck is just your inner awareness that there's a shift that's about to occur. Now, what your mind wants to put you into is, what do I need to do? And it says, do I need to get another degree? Do I need to change careers? Do I need to get some training? It's this constant, taking action thing. And we're all trained to do this kind of thing. And this is where it correlates with the remote viewing. Our brain says, think about this. What is this? Is this a car? Is this a ball? Is this a house? It's a very kind of a angular, logical kind of way of being. And it's completely natural because that's how we're kind of taught in the world. Now, here's where you come in to kind of check in with yourself. Is that the way that you're actually supposed to create? Really feel into this, and it might take a little bit more relaxing into this if this is something new for you. Try not to make it mean something. Try not to go into this is making me become something or do something. Just let it settle. Just let everything just settle. In fact, if it helps you, think about dying. Because that's the place that we get our ultimate letting go, right? The ultimate surrender, the ultimate relaxation. Think if that really helps you, think about dying. And then think about coming back. And how you might have got some clarity because you let go. And then when you came back, you might say, there's something that I haven't been feeling. There's a consciousness grid out there. There's a field out there that I haven't been fully tapping into. So putting the two together, being stuck and then remote viewing, both have this benefit of seeing into something that you couldn't see from the physical senses. So imagine that you're stuck in life or you're stuck with your remote viewing. You're trying to see into something. Just relax, just pull back. I know there's this tendency to go forward, but just pull back for a longer. And you think you're done and you're going to write down some symbol or some word, just hold on, just wait. You think about you're knowing about where to go forward and go, you've got some idea about what you need to do, pull back and expand even more. Because probably the reason that you're feeling stuck is because where you're headed is not something that you're accustomed to or that you're familiar with. And that's how it was for me, is that I couldn't really see where I was headed by looking in the same direction. You know, all those excuses, obstacles, ideas about why I couldn't go in this. So there was this intuition that was happening. I'm going to be working with people. I'm going to be counseling, coaching, healing with people. And then, of course, my brain came up. You can't do that. You're not a psychologist. You can't do that. You've got to go back to school. But still, there's this intuition back there. So my kind of inner knowing knew what was ahead of me, even though there's these perceived obstacles. So it might be something like that. It probably is something like that. You're feeling stuck because maybe you push this path as far as it's healthy to push it. And sometimes this reaching over to this other path or pulling that train track lever over to this other set of tracks. Sometimes there's this catalyst. I'll call it, it's a catalyst in our life. And it flicks us at first. And then it bumps us. And then, like me, it whacked you. It whacks you. So you might be feeling like, don't really have the same friends as I used to, or that restaurant that I used to love isn't my favorite restaurant anymore. How come the service is starting to suck? This place that I thought I was in love with is not the greatest. Or I'm starting to see some things in my relationship that don't feel great anymore. You know, you start getting kind of tweaked a little bit on the inside. That's good. That's a good thing. It's causing more different creation to happen. So maybe, like me, you were kind of living life out of integrity with yourself and not living authentically. And like me, I was, pushing some things and distracting myself because I just didn't know what was really in store for me. But there's thousands and thousands of stories out there of people that had some big catalyst in their life and things shifted. So if you open your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes again. And one of the things that we can do, there's two things. One of them is ask for help, meaning ask for help from whoever you want to: grandfather, grandmother, God, Buddha, Christ, higher self, whatever makes sense to you. Ask for help. And I invite you to ask for help in a way that feels empowering, not in the way that says, take this from me, or do this for me kind of thing. Give me the signs and the symbols and the awareness that I'll really connect with, that'll cause a feeling of empowerment and a complete knowing and confidence of where I'm headed. Give me the feeling of that. The other thing that you can do, you can open your eyes. You can tap into your childhood, because probably guaranteed whatever you're headed towards that is going to feel really good is something that felt good in your childhood. So like me, I loved being in the outdoors. We had these little pup tents when I was a kid, and I would camp out in the backyard or whatever, and loved going to Yosemite and going to the beach. And what did I do? I got jobs where I was indoors all day, cubicle, corporate job, programming. And now I'm outdoors most times. And me, I wanted to connect with people. And when you're a programmer, when you're a technician, you're not really connecting with people all that much. So then that was that kind of feeling stuck. So tapping into your childhood and tapping into what is it that child needs. So if you go back to around 6 or 7 years old, just a little meditation takes like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, just to go back and kind of meet your inner child, meet that little boy or girl, and kind of ask them, what right now in this environment, in your space, in your room, in your house, in your family, what do you need more of? And if you follow that need and start giving that to yourself through the things that you do in your life and start to change that, guaranteed things will line up, because you're starting to be in the flow. Like I was explaining the other day to someone, what I was doing was I was kind of playing in the rocks next to this river of abundance, river of the source energy of creation right there. And because I have free will, I was playing in the rocks saying, I can do this. I know that everything I need is there, and that's where I came from. Now I'm over here playing in the rocks, and I'm kind of forcing things to happen, making things happen. And that's what we kind of do, egoically. But when you start to get into connection with your own needs and your inner child and your feeling, now you start to come closer to that free flowing stream where everything is. And when you're in that stream, health and wealth and relationship and feeling alive and all that stuff is right there. So just know that maybe there's a tap into this for a moment. Could it be that there's something within you, in your subconscious, in an old program that has kept some form of resistance or some sort of belief that keeps you hidden, that keeps you in this limited state? You don't need to know how that is or the details of that, but just go, could there be? Okay. Now that you acknowledge that, that's half the battle right there. Okay, there's probably something. Then you go, okay, I'm ready to move beyond that. And then that's the other part. The mind wants to know all the details, but you don't necessarily have to know all the details. Just know that there's something that's, the hidden block. Okay, where do I want to go? I want to go to those things that I needed as a child, and those things that really fulfill me. And I start thinking about myself, and I start getting a little bit centered in self. And then once you start to get on that track, everything starts to flow in that. It really is like we start to live from loving yourself, that the universe has to provide. And it's just the coolest thing. And, I'll kind of end this by saying, when I work with people, there's this tendency to think that I'm working with them, they're working with me, so that they can better deal with the crap in their life, that they can better deal with the anxiety, that they have tools to work with the worry that they have or the stresses in their life, that I'm going to give them these tools. It's not that. I know this sounds so crazy, but what actually ends up happening is that you don't have the same dramas in your life. Once you kind of get into this flow, those dramas are just not there anymore. I know that's crazy. It's crazy to think that you would have a life without stress and worry and anxiety and anger and hatred and resentment and all those things, that you're working with someone so that you have a better way of dealing with those things when they come up. You do for a short amount of time. But what's really cool is that eventually those things are just not there. And I would also kind of push your, maybe if this is kind of new for you, what ends up happening is that, I'll say it this way, you're in a different movie. You're in a different reality. You're in a different dimension of time and space, but make it a little bit more understandable. You're just in a different version of that movie where it's just not there. And I know if I'm really honest with myself, there's a little part of me that goes, but what am I going to do? How am I going to find excitement? Is my life going to be boring? I can't just live life with nothing. It's just part of living. No, that's bullshit. The anger, the frustration, the resentment, all that is not a mandatory part of living. We just think it is. It's something that's just driven by our mind to think that, to make these reasons to exist in that realm. It only feeds the egoic mind. But you can have everything that you want and have a pretty exciting, adventurous, amazing life without all that stuff. It's just that you've kind of grown accustomed to it. So, don't know why I added that in there, but it seemed to be important. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope this has served you in some way. And I hope you have a most happiest and blessed day in life. And I'll see you, hear you, talk with you next time. All right. Love you. Thank you.